Number 2. I'm pretty sure this one is the heaviest. And number 3. Okay. I think we might have to change location. What's good, guys? And today we've got 3 gigantic packages from Xiaomi. And 2 of them we've got a pretty good idea of what's inside. The third one, not a clue. So this first item we're going to take a look at was a Red Dot Award winner in 2017. And Xiaomi isn't messing around here. This box is a good 15 kilos, maybe even more than that. So we'll get rid of those straps, let's check there's nothing else under the box, and now let's open it up. And at this point you've probably got a pretty good idea of what it is, after taking out the instruction manual, which has 3 smaller little manuals inside of it. You can see this large metal pole running across. Lifting that up, that's a handlebar. This is Xiaomi's electric scooter. There's one pretty substantial box inside, covered in bubble wrap, so we crack that open. This is always the fun bit, and see what's in there. This is a heavy box, and when you open that up, that is 2 spare tyres. And you realise pretty quickly these are the real deal. These are proper tyres, fit for use on a road or a pavement, and they've got good tracks, good grip with the floor. Alright, so taking that scooter out, it comes folded, and all you need to do is to snap it into place and tighten this little bolt, and then it stays upright. So far so good, it feels very smooth just gliding along the inside floor. And just before we take this for a spin, there are a couple of bits and pieces we just need to get ready. Bits of plastic that needs to be taken off, and the battery that needs to be charged. There is also a bell that is pretty loud when it works, but it doesn't always work. And this is combined with torch on the front, so you could actually ride this around at night, and it is bright enough to fairly well illuminate what's in front of you. Alright, first impressions after taking this guy outside, it's very heavy, but the folding mechanism does somewhat help it become portable. And the way it works is quite interesting. You start by pushing yourself forward, and as soon as you've got some motion, you then use the lever on the handlebar to begin acceleration. And if you're not careful, this thing goes very, very fast. You could be hitting a speed of 25 kilometers per hour. Which on one hand is great, it's fast enough to be completely exhilarating, but on the other hand, it's also fast enough to get injured, so wear a helmet, be careful, and don't ride while it's snowy. And as a bit of a cherry on top, it's also got a stand, so like with most scooters, you can kick that up and it'll just stay in one place. You don't need to lean it against a wall or anything like that. Alright, package number 2, and as with the first one, we've got a pretty good idea of what's inside this one. This isn't quite the mystery that is number 3, which we'll get onto in a couple of minutes' time. So this is also by Xiaomi, of course, and this is basically their smart electric fan. But let me tell you before you skip forward, you probably haven't seen a fan quite like this. There's a lot of cardboard inserts inside holding all the different parts in place, and as we saw with the electric scooter, there is also a secondary mini package inside. This contains a lot of the bits and pieces you need for assembly. But one thing stands out in particular, that is a battery. So this fan is actually not just compatible with your mains, but also can be taken anywhere and continues to work, which is a very interesting feature. So we got the base, you get the top part, and it's pretty much as simple as sticking that on top and screwing it in, and you're good to go. You then grab the top part of the fan, take out the paper that was just sort of holding everything in place, stopping it getting damaged in transit, and we've got 3 main parts. And everything here just clicks into place. It's very simple, it's quite well thought out from a user experience standpoint. Apart from the fact that the instruction manuals are all in Chinese and you have to go off the pictures. Flicking the fan over to the bottom, we've just got 1 screw to install. And above this is the removable battery tray, for which you slide the button across, the tray ejects itself, stick the battery in, and we are Gucci. Now, none of this video is at all sponsored by Xiaomi, but I've got to say this is one of the best fans I've ever come across. The fact that there is a battery installed means you can take this fan and put it anywhere, regardless of how close you are to a socket. You could even stick it outdoors on a hot, sunny day, for example. When people see the product for the first time, their first observation is normally how much sleeker it looks than a conventional fan. And of course it's got a price tag to match, but at least you are getting what you pay for. And of course this wouldn't be a smart fan if it didn't have an application to go with it. So through the Mi Home app, you can control the power of the fan, timers for when you want it to turn off, you can control whether you want it to be strong, consistent wind, or natural wind which fluctuates in terms of its power. The fan can oscillate about 180 degrees left and right, as you probably would expect, but it's also got vertical adjustability, so it can do about 20 degrees up or down. And maybe the best part of this thing is that because it's using a brushless motor, on the first 2 power settings it is more or less silent. Now then, package number 3. Not a clue, there isn't even an indication on the outside what on earth this could be. And it is the heaviest of the bunch, so super excited. Alright, so the text on the front of the box reveals 9bot. This is a sub-brand of Xiaomi. but they specialise in self-balancing vehicles. So what we have here is their top-end self-balancing scooter, capable of 22 kilometers of range. Yeah. The weight of the device itself is nearly 13 kilos, so similarly to the first item, this is not an easy thing to lift around, but the quality is exceptional. You take it out, it's got that fresh new product feeling. You take off that plastic film, you can really appreciate the quality of the materials used here. But before we take a little bit of a closer look at that, there are two other boxes here. So the first one actually has the top part of the self-balancing scooter. This is meant for your knees to sort of rest against. And the second box seems to be a bunch of bits and pieces which you might need for assembly. A couple of screws, a couple of tools to help you put it together. But overall, again, it's impressive just how simple the construction is. I really appreciate that about these. The top section clicks into the bottom section, and there are two screws you've got to install here just to keep those two together. You've also got to connect the cable so that the signal can transfer, and then you get a plate that covers all that up. Similar to the electric scooter we looked at the beginning, the wheels here feel equally as smooth. And I was also super impressed by the padding. The material almost feels like it's made of some sort of memory foam. Very comfortable, really well thought out. And speaking of which, there's also room to hold a camera there. Alright, this is where it gets very cool. As this is a self-balancing scooter, the second you turn it on, this thing flips upright and automatically corrects itself. And that is covered top to toe with LEDs. We've got headlights, tail lights, side lights, LED indicators on the front. We've even got a torch built into here. Now, one thing I did really like here is you've got a remote, which means you don't just need to control this by using your feet, like with the standard Segway. You've got precise motion controls with a high quality joystick just from a distance. And whilst it's not as fast as the first electric scooter we took a look at, this thing isn't slow either. It tops out at 16 kilometers per hour. And of course, as you guessed, because this is a Xiaomi smart device, there's also an app involved. So booting it up on your smartphone, you connect via Bluetooth to this device, and you can see all sorts of different stats. You can see the speed, how many miles you might have travelled during that day, and all sorts of other, not particularly useful info. This thing has a fair bit of acceleration, and also a surprising amount of control. When you're on it, you really feel like you can control exactly where it's going. It's also quite easy to get on and off because it is self-balancing, and therefore it's always upright. Alright guys, this was a really special, really different kind of video, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below if you did. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, if you could smash that subscribe button, I would really appreciate it, and I don't think you'll regret it, because we've got some very cool stuff coming soon. More details in the next couple of days. Thanks a lot for watching guys, my name is Aaron, and this is Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'm signing out.